I play the clarinet in the symphonic band, and today I'm going to read Herman and Rosie by Gus Gordon. So, Herman and Rosie. Once upon a time, in a very busy city, on a very busy street, in two very small apartments, lived Herman Schubert, so over here would be Herman, and Rosie Bloom, over here. Henry lived on the 7th floor. He liked potted plants, playing the oboe, wild boysenberry yogurt, the smell of hot dogs in the winter, and watching films about the ocean. Rosie lived on the 5th floor in the building next door. She liked pancakes, listening to old jazz records, the summertime subway breeze, toffees that stuck to her teeth, singing on the fire escape, and watching films about the ocean. So over here, the pictures, and here you can, here you can see Rosie singing. Herman and Rosie liked living in the city. There were days when all the buzzing and honking and humming made them feel like anything was possible. Over here you have lots of words: bars, pizzas, clubs, music, dancing, things. But often the city was a lonely place. And here you see that Herman and Rosie are next to each other, but they can't see each other, and they're all really lonely. Herman worked in a tall building in an office on the 51st floor. He spent all day on the phone selling things. Here, Herman is saying, and the blue whale can grow up to 33 meters in length. And here, list of things that Herman sells are sparkly things, round things, squishy red things, those big wooden things with a pointy bit on the end. And not everybody wanted to buy a thing, but this didn't matter to Herman. He just loved having someone to talk to. And here Herman is. And over here you can see a small green potted plant. Rosie worked uptown in a fine restaurant. In the afternoon, she rode to singing lessons. Here, Rosie is trying to wash dishes, and here Rosie is going to her singing lessons. On Thursday nights, she sang for 2 hours at a small downtown jazz club. It was the highlight of her week. The Mangy Hound Jazz Club. And here, Rosie's all dressed up, but there's only a duck who is not really paying attention. One day, on his way home from work, Herman heard a noise. It wasn't a normal city noise. It was a different kind of noise. Someone was singing. That someone might be Rosie, perhaps. And it was wonderful. It made him feel like he had eaten honey straight out from the jar. And here you can see Herman is really happy. Schwartzman's Jazz Academy. That night, with the singing in his head, Herman took his oboe to the roof and played a groovy little jazz number. In the building next door, Rosie began to hum and her toes began to tingle. Oboe music filled the room. It was the most splendid sound she had ever heard. Here, Rosie is really happy and singing to Herman's oboe music. And it stayed in her head like good tunes do. She hummed it as often as she could, so it didn't fade away. For days it seemed that the music was following them. Herman kept hearing that beautiful voice, and Rosie kept hearing that groovy little tune. Well, here you have the two, so it's possible that the two are just humming the tunes back to each other. Everywhere. You can see that the two are always right next to each other. Then, one morning, Herman arrived at work to find that he had lost his job. He just wasn't selling enough things. Herman thought he sold lots of things, but in truth, he was so happy to be talking to someone he often forgot about the selling part. Small koala is unhappy. That evening at the Mangyhound Jazz Club, Rosie sang up a storm. But there was no one there to hear it. After her set, Rosie was given some bad news. The club was closing down. Herman left his office for the last time. He didn't feel like playing his oboe that night. And here you can hear all the city noise. Taxi, honk, taxi, beep, honk, hey buddy, honk, crash. And Rosie didn't feel like singing. The city felt busier and louder and darker than usual. Herman Schubert sat in his small apartment eating pretzels. To cheer himself up, he decided to watch his entire Jacques Cousteau underwater film collection. Here, the dolphin cries out for its mother. Packed away neatly under the bed sat Herman's oboe. Rosie Bloom stood in the kitchen of her small apartment making pancakes. Lots of pancakes. Way more than she could ever possibly eat. And over here the dolphin says, "The dolphin cries out for its mother." They're watching the same film. This didn't make her feel any better, so she sat down and watched her entire Jacques Cousteau underwater film collection. Days and nights and weeks inched by. Rosie lost her voice to sounds of the city, and Herman lost the urge to play his oboe. The city kept on moving, but everything had fallen out of tune. Then one morning, something was different. Rosie woke suddenly. She needed toffee that stuck to her teeth. Herman woke suddenly. He had a craving for wild boysenberry yogurt. It was such a beautiful day outside that Herman soon forgot his yogurt and Rosie forgot her toffee. Instead, they walked. Transportation map, New York, and the green path is Herman and the red path is Rosie. And then you can see that they're actually walking along similar paths. Oh, and here they started from their apartment, and then they go for a detour, get some pizza, Empire State Building, Times Square, and walked and walked until they both ended up at the same place. Mustard, hold the salt crab, please. Where they each had a hot dog. Then they both walked home. That night, Herman got out his oboe from under his bed and headed to the roof. The city seemed pleased to see him. Even its rattles and honks sounded musical. Rosie was cooking and feeling strangely happy when she heard the familiar sounds of a groovy little jazz number. She dropped the frying pan. She just had to follow that tune. Out, up, and over until... And here you see Rosie is doing like a spy move, spy action, jumping over balconies and stuff like that. And here, Herman and Rosie met for the first time. And here, Herman has his oboe, and Rosie has herself. Voice is an instrument. Once upon a time, in a very busy city, on a very busy street, on top of a very tall building, Rosie found Herman, and Herman found Rosie. The city was never quite the same. And here, Rosie and Herman have their happy ending, where Rosie is singing and Herman can play his oboe. And that was Herman and Rosie by Gus Gordon. I hope you enjoyed the story. Now I will help bring the story to life by playing my clarinet for you. This is a clarinet. Here are many keys. A clarinet isn't like an oboe, but it's pretty similar to an oboe. They look pretty similar and they sound sort of the same. It sounds like this. Now I will play a few songs for you so you can really hear what a clarinet sounds like.
2.31 Rock the House. 4.13. The Bluebells of Scotland. There are 3 beats in the count-off. 5.24. Rock on, rock off. 2.31. Rock the house.
'And now I'll play you my second song.
4.13. The Bluebells of Scotland. There are 3 beats in the count-off.
Here is my third song.
Five point 24. Rock on, rock off. Five point 24. Rock on, rock off.
Thank you for hearing my story and listening to my instrument demonstration. Thank you. Bye.